Tennessee had 4 players selected in the NFL draft last weekend. That makes for 9 offensive players, because they had 2 offensive players drafted, Dylan Sampson and Dante Thornton. 9 offensive players have been drafted under Josh Heupel since he's been at Tennessee. And 8 offensive skill players if you include the quarterbacks. Jimmy, this is kind of a what the H moment for me, but there is a noticeable gap. I don't know if you've seen this, between the number of offensive players Josh Heupel is putting in the NFL draft and the actual production they're displaying in the NFL. Is that going to become a concern for Tennessee on the recruiting trail in the future, that players aren't actually producing coming from Josh Heupel's offense?
So if you're Tennessee, you're saying, look at the offensive players you're putting in the NFL. If you're an opponent of Tennessee, you're saying, yeah, but how productive are they in the NFL? We get you more NFL ready than Tennessee. So that's how each side is going to play this. Who is the most successful of those 9? Is it Darnell Wright?
Yeah, it's Darnell Wright, and he's not even a skill player. None of the skill players have been successful.
Yeah, Jalen Hyatt has not done it. I thought he would be better so far. Hendon Hooker, gosh, didn't Detroit go out and get Teddy Bridgewater last year at playoff time? So that's a fair point. And it's one that's going to be brought up by opposing coaches in the recruiting wars. One way to overcome that is to overpay in NIL. Okay, our guys haven't been, but we're going to give you $500,000 more than Ole Miss. So
yeah,
that could be persuasive.
No, that's very true. And so, yeah, I was going to go down this list. And so I think that, do you think some of these are just based on youth, or like, because Josh Heupel's only been at Tennessee for 4 years now, or is it based on some Heupel production? Because you brought up Jalen Hyatt. There's also Velus Jones Jr., Cedric Tillman, Jalen Wright last year didn't get a lot of carries. I mean, with that in mind, do you expect much out of Dylan Sampson or Dante Thornton this year with where they went to the Raiders and the Browns?
No, I don't. Not this year. And here's the thing, too, and this is not 100%, but I think for the most part, if you haven't shown in year 3 that you're going to be a pretty decent NFL player, it's likely that you won't be. So I think you got to give these guys 3 years. Yeah, Velus Jones now is with the Saints, right? So we'll see. Hyatt's entering his 3rd year. Is that right?
That's right. Correct.
So I think in year 3, if you're not being productive, and I got to give Jalen Wright more time to see. There's some rookie running backs that step in like Ezekiel Elliott and they lead the league in rushing and they're fantastic. Others, it takes them a little bit longer. So I think it's a better judge of what we're talking about if we give each of these players at least 3 years in the NFL. And if they're not doing it by then, percentages suggest it's unlikely that they will be good NFL players.
So what do you make with this in mind, of this, what I brought up? TJ Husmanjada, who is close with the Iamaleava family, talked about, he says that he was defending Iamaleava, and I get it, he was getting their side and fully their side, that it was about, their claim that it was about the offense and more than anything else. He says that former receivers and skill players have come back to him and basically said, and come back to Tennessee and have effectively said, there is absolutely we were not prepared for the NFL at all when we went to Tennessee, particularly receivers and the routes that they run.
Yeah, that was the same knock with Baylor's receivers too. Now, they ended up having one outstanding receiver that kept getting in trouble. Was his name Gordon? Who was that receiver from Baylor?
Josh Gordon. Wasn't he at Oklahoma State?
I thought he was Baylor. Okay. Anyway, Baylor didn't produce a lot of them either, right? Of really good NFL receivers. I think it gets back to the system of you're reading everything. It's not predetermined routes. And I do think there's something to that as far as not performing better at the next level, because I do think Hyatt has the talent. I know he's a little bit lean. I think Tillman has the ability, although he got buried for 3 years at Tennessee before the Heupel system and the Heupel coaching got him up to being a really productive college player. So I do think there's a little bit of a concern there about this system and helping produce people in the NFL. But again, I want to give some of these a couple more years, but right now, I think it is fair to raise the question mark about whether this offense. Now, getting back to the Nico thing, I'll say this. If Tennessee paid him $4 million, he didn't give a rat about what receivers or what system or whatever he had, offensive line. If Tennessee paid him $4 million, he'd be in a Tennessee uniform. That's what I believe.
I mean, I do too, because if it was about help, there's no way he's going to UCLA out of this. So
he's going to a place with less supporting cast. He's going to a team that won half as many games as Tennessee. They won 5, Tennessee won 10. He's going with, I don't know, I guess the coach, Foster's got to be a little bit on the hot seat after winning 5 games. Yeah, he's also making less money, reportedly. So all those things about better supporting cast and changing the offense and all that, I'm not going to say it wasn't brought up, but the deciding factor was he didn't get $4 million.
Yeah, and to the point of the NFL, I think we've talked about this a little more, and a little bit, and I wanted to dive more in depth about it. I think a lot of NFL production, I mean, even if you're not developed for the NFL, I mean, they have coaches in the NFL to do that. So, I mean, my thoughts are, okay, so if you're good, you can spend a year developing and you'll figure out the system, right?
Yeah, and I remember, and I'm sure you do too, years ago, they said that Texas Tech system, they never produced an NFL quarterback. They had Graham Harrell. They had Sonny Crumbly. They had some others that put up these huge numbers. Man, these guys will never be any good that come out of Texas Tech in the NFL. Oh, and then along came Patrick Mahomes. So if you're good enough, you're going to be good in the NFL. So I don't think it's all system.
Yeah, I agree. And even from Tennessee's perspective, John Chavis' system, cornerbacks didn't do the typical jobs of cornerbacks in the NFL. So I know the story of Jabari Greer apparently was told to relearn everything he'd ever learned when he first got signed by the Saints. And then he became a 10-year player in the NFL a year later. So, yes. Yeah, I'm with you. If you're good, I think coaches and NFL franchises make concessions to try to develop people if they're really good. It's the same. You brought up Patrick Mahomes. The same was true with Aaron Rodgers too, right? Jeff Tedford doesn't put out NFL quarterbacks, and then he put out Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, how's he done?
Yeah, he's done pretty well.
So again, and I think you make a good point too. It's up to the NFL in some of these cases to develop these players. If you have the ability, if you have the talent to play at the next level, maybe the college system wasn't greatly to your benefit to being productive, but if you're good enough, you're going to make it, and it may be relearning some things. It may be tweaking what you have been taught. But I really don't think that necessarily that you can say this guy played in this system in college, therefore he won't be able to play in the NFL.
Yes, and to the best example of this, we know that I am a big fan of how David Cutcliffe develops and coaches quarterbacks, but I mean, let's be honest. It helps that he coached 2 Mannings. I think those 2 Mannings are going to the NFL no matter what, no matter what school they go to.
Yeah, well, and see, from the college level, I give David Cutcliffe a lot of credit because he went from Peyton Manning to T. Martin, and when T. Martin was there, they won the national championship. 2 completely different styles of quarterbacks. So I thought he did a really good job of coaching to get the most out of T. Martin. So
yeah,
and he also had. Well, you're right about Eli. I was trying to think of. He had other quarterbacks for that. I was trying to remember. I guess he had Andy Kelly. I'm trying to remember that for sure.
Yeah, he was Andy Kelly's quarterbacks coach.
Yeah,
in 1990. Yeah.
Yeah. Some.
And then obviously going from Andy Kelly to Heath Schuler to Peyton Manning to T. Martin. That's like changing styles every single year with the quarterbacks.
Yeah. So I think that's a sign of a really good coach to maximize the talent or the potential out of your player.